Mr. Will Smith. Welcome back to The Daily Show.
Kind sir.
How are you?
I am so good. I flew 30 hours to be here with you.
Where were
Yes.
you? Where were you?
In Bhutan.
What are you doing there?
Bhutan. The Nat Geo show.
So you're traveling around the world?
Traveling around the world to
Just like
finding the secrets of life.
And are you finding them?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, because we've seen you everywhere. I mean, you've been everywhere in the world. Like you say, Bhutan, you traveled the Middle East and Africa. And where are you going next? South Pole?
South Pole, yes.
That's a real thing?
Yes.
But why?
Why?
Yeah, like what are you hoping to discover there?
So we're
that black people don't like the cold. What are you doing? Why are you there, Will?
No, so the show is. I don't know if I'm supposed to be announcing it yet, but the show's called Pole to Pole.
Okay.
So we're going from the South Pole to the North Pole and all the stops along the way, and we are. It's called Other People's Wisdom. So we're seeking the wisdom. There are people who live at the South Pole. They're researchers. So we're going there. We're going to talk to them.
Right. All the scientists.
All the scientists.
Like, basically, they say like the world's knowledge is stored at the South Pole.
Yes, absolutely.
Essentially. Right.
You got me. You're making me cry already.
When you're talking about the South Pole.
No, yeah, I'm talking about. The South Pole is just such when I think about all that cold.
I'm surprised you're awake, man.
The guy who discovered the South Pole is named Will Smith.
For real?
Yep, that's true.
You said that so I don't even know if you're lying right now. You said you said that so convincingly.
No, it's true. It's true. Somebody can Google it. Somebody can Google it.
All right, I'll just believe you. So you're traveling around the world.
Yeah.
Emancipation. I just watched it. It is it's so hard to describe movies like this because people see it in the clip.
Yeah.
But you play one of the most famous unknown people, surprisingly, and you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
From America's history.
Yeah.
A man whose picture went around the world that basically showed many people who didn't know innately how brutal slavery was. Let's talk about this first of all.
Yeah.
Emancipation is not the kind of film we would expect to see you in immediately as Will Smith.
Yeah.
So why this project? Why get into the story? And why this story in particular?
You know, when I read this script, man, it's like, you know, you've probably seen the image. It's a black man, and it says, you know, his back and his arm, and he's sitting. So it's a pretty famous picture.
Yeah, I think we have that image here. I think it's one of the famous ones.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah. So it's that image, and first seeing that image was one of the things that really got me, you know, excited to explore this because you see the image, but you don't know who he is, you don't know what the story is. And then as I started to do the research, and you know, it's American slavery was, you know, one of the most brutal aspects of human history.
Right.
You know, it was something that was so incomprehensible. You know, it was just so it's hard to understand the level of human cruelty. And the screenplay was spectacular, and Antoine Fuqua he did his thing on this, man, and
it's gripping the whole way through. I'll tell you that much. It's scary. It is gripping. It's not glamorizing because it is the story of how, you know, the Union is moving, and people start hearing whispers of Lincoln has declared that, you know, slavery is abolished. He's freed the slaves. Yeah. But then you see how many people haven't received that news, and you see how that news doesn't change everybody's lives overnight.
Yeah, so the emancipation was January 1st.
Right.
And slaves weren't free until June 19th. So the period of
65,
emancipation.
Right? 1865, I think.
Yeah, 1865, yeah. So January 1st, slaves were free, but the South refused to allow the slaves to be free. So the enslaved people started trying to run to get to Lincoln's army. And in Baton Rouge is where Lincoln's army was from this place in Louisiana. So it's about that period where the slaves were free, but they weren't being freed. So it is a beautiful, beautiful movie. And, you know, so my daughter asked me, she's like, Daddy, do we really need another slave movie when I was thinking about it? And I said, baby, I promise you I wouldn't make a slave movie. This is a freedom movie, you know?
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
It is interesting that you say that because the story, one of my favorite lines in the movie is when, I think it's one of the, he's leading one of the battalions and he talks to your character,
Absolutely.
right? He's like a general commando and he says to your character, he says, I was born free. And he says, we're allowed to own houses, we're allowed to do this, we're allowed. And your character says to him,
if someone must allow you to do it, are you really free?
Right.
And this film, what's really interesting about it is it centers on faith, and the power of faith, to be able to endure anything, and this character is just what he had to endure and what he had to survive. Only God could, make a man, when you look at those marks on his back, only God could make that possible, and there he talks about a period in doing the research, he talks about he was whipped into a coma. And he was in a coma for 3 months, and he said that he met God while he was in the coma. And when he came out, he believed in a way that he had never believed before. And I learned the difference between faith and revelation. Right? So faith is one thing. When you have to, you have to have faith. I'm not crying to my eyes. I just got tired. I got airplane eyes. I got airplane eyes.
On a plane for 30 hours.
Yeah, I got airplane eyes. But the difference between faith and revelation, right? That he walked in the world with a knowledge of the divine, with a knowledge of God that was just something I desperately wanted to understand and explore.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the film, you wonder, it's one of those movies where you watch it and you go, this is harrowing, this is gripping, it's wild, it seems unbelievable. Yeah. And then you see the images of the real person and your mind cannot comprehend that it was possible for this to happen to a human being and that they actually exist. It's a story that, that goes beyond everything. And I'd love to know, like, in the telling of the story, beyond faith, beyond revelation, what is the biggest thing you took away from it? Because it's interesting, I get what your daughter was saying. Do we need another slave movie? Yeah. And I understand what you're saying about it being a freedom movie. But I feel like each story has a different lesson.
Yes.
Because it's a movement, it's a revolution, it's a quest for freedom. What do you think was the biggest lesson you took away from the story?
I think that, as an actor, anytime you go into these characters and you go this deep into these roles, it changes something about you. You understand something that you didn't understand before. And I guess the major thing that came through for me with Peter is the power of the direction of love, right? So he's trying to get back to his family, and that comprehension of love and how love actually is a superpower. When you can fill your heart with that kind of love, it's a propulsion that is unlike any other thing. It's stronger than fear, it's stronger than hate, is stronger than tired, It's like when you can really latch into and fill your heart with love in a way, it really is shield and armor unlike anything that exists.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. Congrats again.
Yeah.
Congrats on the movie. Great seeing you again.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I lost, so it's been a while since many people have seen you.
Yeah. I've been away. What y'all been doing? Thank you, baby.
It's been. I can only imagine what it's been like for you.
Yeah.
Because it has been weird for many of us.
Yeah.
You're Will Smith.
Yeah.
You are. No, you are. You Will Smith.
Yeah.
You are one of the biggest movie stars that has ever existed. One of my favorite people that I've ever seen inhabit a screen.
Thank you, man.
And then you had the Oscars.
Yeah.
Where in one night
I have no independent recollection of the.
I can only imagine because you won your first Oscar that night, a well-deserved Oscar that night. But it is simultaneously in many ways, not the worst. I won't say the worst because I know the life you've lived. I've read the book. But it is one of the best days of your life and one of the worst days of your life. And I'd love to know, I mean, just, you know, us talking, first of all, what has the journey been like since that day? Like, because everyone speculates, everyone just sees it and goes, I think this, I think that, I think this, I think that. What has it been like for you?
Yeah, that was a horrific night, as you can imagine. You know, there's many nuances and complexities to it, you know. But at the end of the day, I lost it, you know. And I guess what I would say, you just never know what somebody's going through. You know, you know, in the audience right now, you know, you're sitting next to strangers, you know. And somebody's mother died last week, you know? Somebody's child is sick, you know? Somebody just lost their job. Somebody just found out their spouse cheated, you know? It's like there's all these things and there's strangers and you just don't know what's going on with people, you know? And I was going through something that night, you know? And not that you know, justifies my behavior at all. I would just say, you know, you're asking what did I learn, and it's that we just got to be nice to each other, man. You know, it's like, it's hard. And I guess the thing that was most painful for me is I took my hard and made it hard for other people. You know, and it's like I understood the idea where they say hurt people, yeah. You know. And it's like,
you know, it's interesting. I remember, again, everybody was speculating. One of my friends called me and we're talking, and everyone's got these opinions. And then someone said, I feel like we saw the real Will Smith in that moment, because there's a guy who's so full of love and so positive, but I feel like in that moment we saw the real Will Smith. And I said, and not because I know you, you know, but I said, honestly, I said, no, if anything, I feel like it was the opposite. Like, you know, you talk in your book about growing up so afraid of conflict. You grow up in your book talking about how you were always afraid to fight with, how you were afraid to. For me, it felt like in watching that moment, I felt like you were like, it's like, in a weird way, it's like you stood up for the wrong thing at the wrong time, in a way.
Yeah, you know,
do you know what I'm saying? It felt like you'd taken everything, because here we are, you know, human to human, man to man, but like, people have said some shitty things about you and your family.
Absolutely.
You know, you're a human being. It felt like, and I would say this to people, I was like, it's becoming relentlessly shitty now. And people think it's okay.
Yes.
That's the thing. People think it's okay. And not Chris, by the way. I'm talking about people, the internet, etc. But it felt like this was Will Smith for the first time going, okay, is this how you want me to respond or not?
Yeah. Nah, it was, you know, it was a lot of things. It was the little boy that watched his father beat up his mother. You know, it's you know, all of that just bubbled up in that moment. You know, that's not who I want to be. You know, you've known me for a long time, so you know me personally, so you know. But you know, y'all might not know. You know, it's like that's not who I want to be, man. I'm trying to, you know,
I also think that's not who you are. I'll be honest with you. I think it's not who you are. I think everybody can make a mistake, and I think, in my honest opinion, I think how I think of living my life.
Now,
as I say,
now I'm crying for real. Okay.
No. But I mean this honestly. I'll tell you why. But I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because so on my side as a human being, I go, the reason it was shocking is because that's not who you are. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Like I saw, for instance, there was an article that was written, I think it was a Hollywood Reporter or whatever. They had a list of like problematic actors or whatever. I was personally offended for you and Letitia, funny enough, for a different reason, but they had you guys in a list where I was like, wait, some of these people are here for sleeping with underage kids. These people are here for abusing their spouses. And again, what you did was up. I'll always tell you that. I love Chris. I'm friends with him. I love you. I'm friends with. But I was like, this is up. But I was like, but it's not the same world. And that's where it was weird, especially I find, you know, because there were all these dynamics. So I know that as black people would be together and be like, what was Will doing? What the hell happened here, right? But then I know a lot of black people were like, you know, when people came out and they were like, he should go to jail. And we were like, you need to relax yourself. It was a weird, like some people were overreacting, which made some people underreact. You know?
No, I understand, you know, how shocking that was for people, man.
Right.
You know, on that
shocked?
stage.
You seemed a little dazed afterwards. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I was gone, dude. I was gone. You know, that was a rage that had been bottled for a really long time.
Right.
And, you know, but I understand the pain, you know. It was like, my nephew, Dom, is 9. And he is the sweetest little boy. He's like, you know, we came home and it's like he had stayed up late to see his Uncle Will, you know, and we're sitting in my kitchen and he's on my lap and he's holding the Oscar and he's just like, why did you hit that man, Uncle Will? You know, damn it. Why are you trying to Oprah me?
No, I'm not, man. No. Yeah, and he's sitting on your lap and.
Yeah, you know, so yeah, it was, you know, I was like, it was a mess. You know, I don't want to go too far into it to give people to misunderstand.
Is it hard? You know, you have lived. I realized this morning when I was thinking about you coming on the show. You are one of the rare breed of human who has lived more of your life in the spotlight than out of it. You got into this industry as a kid. You know, you grew up and blew up into it as a young man. You had your tax issues, you had your life, you had your family, you had, you know, but you have lived in this world. So it's funny again. I realized chatting to friends and I was like, you know what's interesting here is, for us, this is the Oscars. For Will Smith, this is like a cookout.
Right.
And I'm not diminishing the Oscars, but I go like, those are your people, that's your world. This is like this, you know. And I was like, I was saying, I think that is part of the reason many of us were that shocked, because you go like, it's this lauded event. It's bigger than life. Whereas many movie stars are at the Oscars like, oh, nice to see you again. Hey, good to be here. Good to be back. And I feel like that was part of the disconnect. I feel like that was part of. But one
thing that's killing me, you know, so Emancipation is Antoine's masterpiece.
That's what I want to ask you about.
He has created an absolute masterpiece. Bob Richardson, the DP, and Ben Foster, and just all the way down. It's like these top artists in the world have done some of the best work of their career. And the idea that they might be denied because of me is like, oh, you know, it's like that is killing me dead, you know. And it's like the thing that is so critical for me is that, you know, these people came and they trusted me and they were down for me, and you know, I hope that their work will be honored and their work will not be tainted based on, you know, a horrific decision on my part.
I honestly hope, and I don't think that that'll happen. You know, I have conversations with people all the time about restorative justice. You know,
you have conversations with people?
You know, but about restorative justice, about like atonement, about, we have all these conversations, we have them at the highest levels often. And what I realize is we often don't have these conversations as they pertain to daily life. You know, what somebody says, what somebody does, and especially in isolation. That's why I say the sum of a person is oftentimes how I define them, as opposed to a moment. You know, and on a personal level, you know, I think I speak for many people. If I don't, forgive me. But, you know, obviously people were hurt because we love you and we love what you do. People were shocked because, you know, it's Will Smith, it's Chris Rock, it's, you know, it's the Oscars, all these things. But I also think I speak for people when I say, like, I don't want that to define you. I don't think it should define you. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you.
I don't think, I don't think any one of us I don't think any one of us in life deserves to be defined by our up, like the up, you know. If anything, I mean, like you and Chris have the biggest story to handle on your own. It's not our, you know, our foray. But yeah, man, I hope you don't stay hidden forever.
No,
I hope you know that you don't always have to bottle it up. I hope you know that you not being perfect is what'll make you perfect. You Will Smith, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're that dude. We love you, for real.
I think
you're that dude. You know.
I think that was one of the big things for me over this last couple of months. You know, that I had to forgive myself for being human. You know, and it's like, trust me, there's nobody that hates the fact that I'm human more than me.
Yeah, I know that. No, but I know that. Yeah.
You know, and just, you know, finding that space for myself within myself to be human. You know, it's like I've always wanted to be Superman. I've always wanted to swoop in and save the damsel in distress. You know. And I had to humble down, you know, and realize that I'm a flawed human, and I still have an opportunity, you know, to go out in the world and contribute in a way that fills my heart and hopefully helps other people, you know. So.
I appreciate it.
Brother, appreciate you, man. Hey.
Thank you, man.
You
You look after yourself.
All right, now.
We'll everybody.